The holiday season is finally here, and with it comes all of our most delightful meals. Today on City Chat, from Columbus Public Health, Food Protection Supervisor Rob Acquista is here to talk about some holiday food safety tips and how we can keep our family and friends healthy and happy during the holidays. Thank you, Rob, for coming on to City Chat today to talk about this really interesting topic. So I thought this was an interesting question. When you're going to the grocery store and you're shopping for holiday meals especially, I just didn't even know that there's things to look out for to make sure that the food is safe. You just kind of assume that at a grocery store everything is going to be okay. But are there things that we need to be looking out for?
Well, sure. I think the first thing you want to do is get your non-perishable items first. So breads, canned goods, sauces, things like that. Get those items first, then get your items that need to be refrigerated, your turkeys or your dairy products, whatever you might be using that's in the refrigerated cases.
What are some tips for cooking a holiday meal safely?
Well, I like where we started. We're going to the grocery store. When you do go to the grocery store, make sure that you're going home. Sometimes people think, oh, I'm going to go get some groceries, then I'm going to stop and get this or something else. You don't want that product to sit in your car for a long period of time. Luckily, this time of year it's a little colder, so you might have a little bit more time, but once you get your groceries done, go home, unload the car, and then go back out and do some of the other errands.
And so would that be the same reason when you were saying to get like breads and like canned foods first, it's just because like the turkey or meats would be in a fridge longer? Is that why you were saying that? And it would like have more time to like form bacteria or something?
Well, the idea is to leave it in the refrigerator as long as possible.
Okay.
Look at the packaging also. When you pick up products, look at the packaging. Check the coolers. Make sure the coolers' temperatures, they should have thermometers throughout the coolers. Make sure the coolers are holding temperatures properly.
Yeah.
If you buy a frozen turkey, it should be frozen. If you buy a fresh turkey, obviously it's going to be fresh. Just make sure that just some of the common sense things that you would do, you're following and you're looking at. If you have questions, ask.
So, I've been to the grocery store where it's been a little bit like the fridges have been they seem like they were like just turned on or something. Should you just stay away from that if it's like not as cold as it should be?
Well, I think the first thing you should do is ask questions. Talk to the manager or whoever's in charge of that department and talk to them and find out. They may have just put some of the product out, but I would look again, make sure they have thermometers in there. They're supposed to. Check the thermometers, look at the product. If the product looks like it's been damaged or it looks like maybe it has thawed and then been refrozen, ask questions. Don't just assume that it's going to be okay.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. So how do you safely thaw a turkey?
The best way to thaw a turkey is to keep it in your refrigerator. It usually takes 2 to 3 days for the turkey to thaw properly. There are other ways you can thaw turkey under running water, but the preferable choice is to get it ahead of time, put it in the refrigerator, make sure you put it on some sort of pan. So this way if it's leaking, you don't want it to leak onto something else. And if you can, also put it at the bottom of your refrigerator so it's not going to leak on vegetables or some other foods.
Ooh, that's a really good tip. So what else can we do to keep our food safe?
Once you start the cooking process, the biggest thing is to keep foods separate. So your raw products, your turkey, hamburger, sausage, all your different type of raw items, make sure you keep them away from your salads, your ready-to-eat foods. You do not want them to contaminate each other. That's a big one.
Can you kind of go into detail? I just think that this is really interesting. Like, can you give us more, tell us like how the process works if you don't separate foods, like if we're leaving stuff out, like what happens in these like little colonies or bacteria colonies?
Well, one of the biggest things that I've seen, and I don't mean to jump, but a lot of times people leave food out after the meal's cooked.
Yeah.
And you'll see people going and just kind of constantly picking at it. We have a danger zone for food, for bacteria growth, and it's between 41 degrees and 135, okay? But between 70 and 135, you even have more of a rapid growth for bacteria. So that's why you want to bring the product out as soon as possible. Leave it out, people can go get what they want, put it in the refrigerator, break it into smaller containers. You break it into smaller containers so it can cool quickly. If you have a product that's been out too long, and you still want to save it, stick it in the freezer to try to get a rapid cool on it. Then you can take it out once it has rapidly cooled down. You don't want food to be in that danger zone.
When is there like a time amount where that danger zone, where we can calculate that danger zone? Is it like an hour, like half an hour?
Well, normally what we do is we tell people don't keep it out more than 2 hours.
2 hours,
typically.
okay.
In a restaurant, they have a 2-hour window to go from 135 to 70 because that's the more critical temperature. That's a higher temperature. Then to go from 70 to 41, they have another several hours. But at home, you put it out. Make sure you put it away within a couple hours. And again, try not to put a big bulk of food away. Try to break them down into smaller containers so they can cool quicker.
Awesome. Thank you so much for these tips. I'm definitely going to apply these to this season. Is there anything else that you would like to share about like your experience, like your passion for all of this?
Well, we didn't talk much about cooking temperatures, but make sure the turkey is cooked properly. There's all sorts of thermometers out there that you can buy that you can actually stick it into the product while it's cooking, and it will monitor the temperature.
Cool.
Now, a lot of people don't like to, they say, oh, I don't want to cook my chicken to 165 because it gets too dry. If you cook it to 165 and you follow the monitor, it will be fine.
Okay.
And that's where you want to cook it to, is make sure 165. One of the other big tips, and it's one of my pet peeves when I'm at Thanksgiving with my family, is don't let people use their fingers. Make sure you have utensils, forks, whatever. So, if the turkey's sitting out, I see it all the time. People go and they'll use their fingers and pick it out and then put it in their mouth. Don't let people do that. Your hands, your arms, they're dirty. You have staph on your hands. You could have all sorts of viruses on your hands.
Yeah.
So be careful with that.
And that can really affect it. I mean, that can infect the whole turkey if someone is like sick, let's say, and they like grab it.
Absolutely. And then it will affect everybody else that's there who eats after that person. So we've got to be really careful with that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all of these holiday food safety tips. You can protect your health this holiday season by signing up for food safety classes and learning more at columbus.gov/publichealth. Thanks for watching City Chat on CTV.